So it turns out you guys really like Brass Monkey fridges. So here is a long-term review of the 25-litre Brass Monkey fridge that I purchased. I don't even know how long ago. It was probably about a year ago now. And let's have a look at some of the things I like and I don't like about it. It's pretty windy out here today, so I apologize if the audio isn't amazing. I'm trying my best. I don't have all the equipment with me because at the moment I'm out camping and we're pretty far away from everyone, which is pretty much the idea, isn't it? Guys, I'm looking at my back setup at the moment. Everything's everywhere. I make no apologies for that, purely because we're out, we're doing some wheeling and things are a bit crazy at the moment and I need access to everything and I need it all here. So I apologize if things are a little bit messy, but you know what, at the same time, I don't, because this is how it looks. This is the real world. Not everything is perfect all the time. Let's get into the fridge, guys. What are we looking at? So with the fridge, we'll start with the build quality. Actually, it's holding up pretty well. The sides, which is kind of like an aluminium, isn't really denting very easily, which I'm surprised about because it's quite thin. So as you can see, I've got heaps of stuff resting up against it and no issues at all. The plastics are starting to yellow a little bit, which I guess is to be expected. It's not a high quality product, so you know it's going to happen. And there's a little display here, and it's lifting up, and that's kind of that is what holds like the USB and all the buttons as well. And it's lifted up and it's not going back down. So it's definitely not like clipping back in, I guess, what was supposed to happen. So if we're looking at that sort of stuff, the build quality of it, yeah, sure, it's not great, but I guess that's what you get with a $320 fridge. So if we have a look at the build quality of it overall, it's actually not bad, considering that it's really only, what, a $300 fridge. So build quality for the money, hey, it's pretty good. As it sits, the fridge still works and like all the compartments still works. The compressor hasn't gotten any, I guess, weaker, like it hasn't gotten any warmer inside. Still holding temperature the same. It's light in the inside, it still works. In terms of some of the things I don't like about it, thinking long term, that might annoy you guys, especially if you're thinking of picking one up now, I guess, is it loses temperature quick. If you unplug it for like no time at all, like, I don't know, say 5-10 minutes, it will drop 5 degrees like straight away. It's not, I don't think it's very well insulated. You could probably fix that, probably by putting maybe some of your own insulation in there, but I think that's probably to be expected. The outside of the fridge as well does get quite cold, so it makes me wonder how much insulation is really inside this thing. All right, so the main thing we need to talk about is the fact that it doesn't cool at the temperature it says. At the moment, it's on 1 degree. 1 degree does not mean ice cubes. And I just finished making my lunch, and if we have a look here at the salad that's been in there for a day now, 24 hours, I'm not sure if you can see that, but they are ice cubes. That should be breaking up, and it isn't, because it's ice. That isn't ideal for lettuce. You don't want a less ice sandwich. Not ideal. It does that with everything. One thing that I'm like kind of stressing out about a little bit is it going to freeze my bottles and, you know, cans and whatever? Is it going to freeze them? Then they explode in the fridge. That's what I'm worried about. At the moment, it hasn't happened yet. So stay tuned. I'll let you guys know in an extra long-term review. But yeah, to me, it's just, I don't know why it's so cold. Some of the stuff isn't even that close to the element. You can see clearly where the element goes around the fridge. And if you have anything near it, it's getting frozen. So for example, I put a Subway sandwich in there, a foot long in there, and the end that was kind of resting up against the element, that whole end was frozen. So I guess that's another thing. It's a cheaper fridge. The element clearly doesn't have dispersed cooling. And I would assume that's something that you would get with a higher end fridge freezer. I can't comment on the freezing capacity of it, But I mean, if it's freezing things at 1 degree, there's no reason why it wouldn't be freezing below that. So I guess it freezes well. There you go. Even when you don't want it to. In general, guys, just speaking frankly, it's a good fridge for the money. I don't have a lot of money to spend on stuff. Like I've got the car and it's new, and I've got max tracks, and I've got the whole setup going on. But it's really difficult to come up with $1,600 for one of like the higher end fridges. It's just so much money. And yeah, okay, I do use it a bit. I use it almost now like every second weekend, and on the school holidays, and sometimes when I know I'm picking up groceries or something, I just flick it on an hour or two before, and I know it's going to be cold, and then I can go and do other stuff. So it's handy that way. But geez, it's a lot of money to spend on a fridge. Hey, $1,600 or $1,200 for, I think the Dometic 50-litre ones are around like $1,200. You get one special for a little bit less, I think. But geez, guys, that's a lot of money to spend. I mean, that's like almost a whole new tire setup, or it's a lot of money, put it that way. And all the stuff adds up. And yes, I made a promise to myself when I got this car, which is my Land Cruiser Prado 150, Land Cruiser, as people get very picky about. Once I got this car, I said to myself that I would try and not buy the cheapest of everything. This is pretty much, this and my battery and my solar panel, pretty much the only things that I brought over from my previous build, which I did a whole build on my Navara on this channel about. So for me, it's really difficult to just say, I'm going to drop $1,000 on another fridge, when this thing does everything I need it to do. And yeah, sure, things do get frozen, like the tomato sauce turns into a slushy, which isn't everyone's cup of tea, believe it or not. And yes, the tomato sauce does belong in the fridge after opening it. That's why you keep it in there. But that's stuff you can live with. Not everything freezes. Like the butter, for example. Butter will take a long time to freeze. Tomato sauce, on the other hand, maybe a little bit longer. But things like, I guess lettuce and stuff that has a high water content, it's gonna freeze in the fridge. But if you know that, just, take it out 5 minutes before you use it, So there's workarounds is what I'm trying to say. I think people always try and say, oh, I want a Brass Monkey fridge. What's wrong with it? Oh, there's one thing wrong with it. Oh, I'm not getting it. But everything has a compromise. I've found that even at the highest, kind of budget sort of equipment that I'm buying, I'm still finding myself a bit disappointed with some of the features, because the more you spend doesn't necessarily mean the more that you are going to get back, I guess. If you've been watching the Donut Media build of does more expensive mean more better? And it's a really interesting series, and it's really true. And I hope that they go more into the accessory side of things, like fridges and batteries and stuff. I don't think they will. It's an interesting way to approach it, to think, does spending more money on a fridge mean that it's going to cool better? No. It's really the same. Yeah, sure, because the insulation in it isn't as good. Yeah, it's going to have to turn its compressor over more. Yeah, it's going to use more battery. Probably, yeah. But that's a compromise of a cheaper fridge. It's really difficult to justify another $800 for a fridge to hold another 15 or so litres. And there are people, heaps of people on YouTube, and they get by with 25-litre fridges. I'm confident you could do a lap of Australia with an esky if you're strategic about what you are doing, when you're picking up ice, how long you're staying away from, petrol stations and stuff. So if you're one of those people that's kind of thinking, I may or may not get this fridge because of, the features of it or whatever, it freezes and cools just like a normal fridge for $300. What more can I say about it? I mean, I'm not sponsored by anyone, so I get to say what I want about all the stuff that I buy. And I would 100% go out and buy this fridge again. If this died today, I would go out and get one straight away. Whether or not I could justify maybe spending a little bit more money and getting something maybe like a Dometic, maybe. But at the end of the day, it's my money that I'm working really hard for, you know, with my normal job. I don't get money for this. And, you know, it's my money, and I just can't see spending $1,000 on a fridge. I just can't see it when this does everything. So this ended up being more of a rant video. Oh, guys, I've had heaps of comments about, can it fit this bottle? Can it fit that bottle? Let's settle this once and for all. Let me show you some of the bottles that it can hold. All right, so let's get into it and have a look at the amount of room it's got in it. Okay, I've stacked this very poorly, but bear with me. So we have got I guess a pretty decent sized pack of lettuce. I got some ham, and I've got some pasta already cooked and ready to go. I've also got in here, in terms of size, so you can see, and you can see as well that one of the little LEDs has gone on the light. So yes, there you go, another little long-term review thing. Not a big deal, I really don't care. We've got some cans, so that's like the can minis, okay? The 6-pack box, so it only comes up to about there, all right? This is a standard size bottle, beer bottle right there. You can see it shuts perfectly standing up. Tomato sauce bottle for reference, again, doesn't make the lid foul on the way down. Got my bread that's now squished, okay? We have got this bottle here, which is a 1 liter kombucha bottle, quite tall and thin. Will not shut, okay? There you go, one thing that won't fit. So if you're ever wondering whether or not something can fit, 1 liter tall bottles will not, okay? If you had a shorter bottle, yes, it would fit. But at the moment, no, that will not fit. So it has to go like that. But I mean, guys, heaps of room. I'm on a 2-night, 3-day trip at the moment. I'm doing a little bit of cooking, not a huge amount. And you know, like I've got heaps of stuff in here. I've got some bacon down the bottom there as well. And this little side compartment actually has ended up being pretty handy. That side compartment here, it's not cool. So don't put anything there that needs to remain cool. It's cool, but it's not the temperature that the fridge is. So it's not an extra compartment. It's not that at all. It is just a little slither, basically, and it's a really good spot actually to store spices and stuff. You can just lie them down, or you can just lie them down, or you can just put like a little bottle of olive oil or something so it doesn't tip over. Ends up being a pretty handy little unit, that. So yeah, guys, great unit. I really like it. I've been using it for a while now. I'm not even looking at fridges or anything to upgrade. So for me, it's not bad. Okay guys, that wraps up my Brass Monkey 25-litre fridge long-term review. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, put them down below. Seems to be like the Brass Monkey, you know, videos seem to be doing well. I don't know why. Budget, you know, people are interested. Great. Hopefully this long-term review helped you guys out as well. If you're wondering where I am at the moment, I am currently at around Cape Bedford, roughly. I actually don't quite know where I am, which is probably actually a really good thing. And we've got some coloured sands down there as well. So if you don't know where that is, look it up. Pretty interesting place. But apart from that, guys, that's about it. Check out some of my other videos, all kind of camping and photography kind of related stuff. You know, a lot of people are kind of, those things kind of go hand in hand now, really. You know, you go out camping, you take some photos. So, you know, it's just life in North Queensland. So I'll leave it there, guys. If you have any questions, like I said, put them down below. Thanks for joining me. I'm gonna bring the camera over here. I'm gonna get rid of this March fly, okay? I'm trying to avoid this March fly. So if I sound a little bit distracted, that's what it is. Where did he go? No, I think I got rid of him.